All right, so today we're going to be talking about a new addition to the RV, finally, after all these years. Well, we got e-bikes, and we've been transporting those inside the RV, and that's been a real pain in the butt. But today we're going to talk about the new bike rack. That's the CyberRack E2 from Cravot. I think that's how you say it. Talk about what it is, how big it is, how it works. Get the bikes down off of there right quick, and we'll show you all about it. So stick around, home on the Hitch. But before we get started talking about the bike rack real quick, just to make sure that you have a hitch on the back of your RV that's capable of holding the weight. This hitch that's on here did not come on the RV. This is a draw tight weld-on hitch that's welded to the frame on each side. It's got a 4,000 pound tow rating and a 400 pound tongue weight rating. So we're well within that with the bikes being, even if we said they were 200 pounds and the hitch itself, I think it's either 69 or 79 pounds, something like that. We're still within the tongue weight rating on the hitch. So before you get any type of hitch or strap any kind of bikes or anything on the back of your RV, make sure you got a hitch on their receiver that's appropriate. With that said, this is a 2-inch receiver, and that's what comes on the CyberRack. So looking at the specs, you see it's rated for 200 pounds. That's 100 pounds per bike. It folds up and has a max wheelbase for your bicycle of 50 inches. It's equipped to fit a 2-inch standard receiver hitch, which is most common. It comes with a ramp that will help with loading and unloading the bikes. And here you can see all the technical specs and weights and everything. So pause that, you can take a look at it. All right, so with the specs out of the way, let's take a look at the actual hitch. Actually pretty impressed with it. Seems pretty sturdy. One of the things that I really like about it is that this receiver hitch right here is actually threaded on where the pin goes through. So it comes with a threaded bolt. And I'll put the listing where we purchased this off of Amazon. I know there's some different combinations, but the one we purchased came with, it has a threaded bolt that really tightens down and secures this thing so it hardly moves at all. You don't have the hitch rattle. If you've ever used a bike carrier, you know about that. But and it has a lock on the other end. So some of them I think just come with the threaded bolt that has a pin that goes through it, and you have to furnish your own lock. But this has a lock on the other side that comes with it. You do have to do a little bit of putting it together. This piece right here has to be joined with this main trunk, and these crossbars are put on. Basically, it'll take you about 20 to 25 minutes to put this thing together. The idea is, and these are wide for these fat tire e-bikes like we've got. I think you can do up to 5 inches. So the bikes go up here, front tire goes in here. This slides up against the back tire. You lock it in place, and then it's got ratchet straps that go through and tighten up on the wheels, and we'll show you how that works. But the only thing that I don't really know about on this hitch is how long these straps are actually going to last. I'm sure that's something that they just kind of screw on there. I'm sure that's something that you could buy from the company and replace. I'm just not, I mean, those are nice straps, but it is some type of polymer, plastic, rubber. I'm not sure how long those are going to last, but we'll see. So those go in there, that goes in there. You strap the wheels down, and then these bars come up, and you have these clamps right here that articulate, so they can clamp to the center crossbar, the seat post, and they're completely adjustable all the way up and down, so you can really put it where you need to put it. And once they're fastened in there, we'll show you, it's pretty sturdy. Some of them come with the ramp, some of them do not. But this comes with a ramp that's pinned on the end. Now it does rattle a little bit, but it's got to be easily removable. and it just slides out and it gives you a little ramp. There's little notches in the end of each of these, and it gives you a little ramp to either push or you can use the power of the bike to drive it up on there. I've only had them up there a couple of times, so I'm still getting used to doing that. But yeah, so there's notches on each one there for each bike, and that really makes it pretty easy to get them up there. Like I said, that goes back in here and is held in place with this lynch pin that is cabled to the end of the hitch, so you don't have to worry about it coming off. Now it will fold up. Pull this key right here, pull out what looks to be like a standard hitch pin, and then drop it on the ground. And this thing will fold up just like that. And you can put your hitch pin back in place, a little wiggling, and pin it in like that. And then it's folded up out of the way if you don't have bikes. This is pretty thick material, and especially where the crossbay members mount in. It's all made pretty thick steel for a bike rack. It's the sturdiest bike rack I've ever dealt with. So, like I said, I haven't only dealt with a couple, but it's pretty sturdy. It's just going to make it a lot easier for us to travel, because we've had, you know, you want to take the bikes, but the bikes are big and the bikes can be clumsy trying to get them in and out of the RV. And when things become clumsy, you know, that's wrong. When things become clumsy and not easy to deal with, then we tend not to do them. There is an adjustment screw underneath here where you can adjust where this rests so it will line up with that pinhole better. We haven't even driven down the road with this thing. This is kind of a first impressions video, but so far so good. But I'll show you how it is that you get the bikes up here. It's a little cumbersome getting my bike up here because of this turd toter tank here hanging on the ladder, but we can just kind of lean out of the way and get that up there. If you're carrying two bikes on a rack like this, you want to make sure you put the heavier bike closer to the hitch. Can you see me? Okay. And this is a really big bike. This Sequoia is a large dude. So come over here and grab the ramp. But you know, the ramp really does make it a lot easier if you're by yourself. You know, if you had somebody else with you, you could just pick them up and put them on there. All right, let's see how this works. I don't have the batteries in them, so I'm gonna have to kind of do it by force here. And like I said, on the grass, it's kind of uneven. And now the ramp will twist a little bit. Once it gets up there, and adjust the pedals that way. Over. And perfect. All right. So it's pretty stable once you get it up there. It's not even strapped. I don't know, maybe leaning on that a little bit, but once the tire gets in that front groove right here, it's pretty stable. But I will go ahead and grab one of these. I will bring this one up. I don't think, bring this one up. Just like so. Slide it on there. Let me show you that. So that realistically is just, it's got a nice rubber grip right there for that to go into, and the ratchet strap goes around whatever post you're putting it on. So I'm just trying to do this in real time so you can see. So I'm gonna, that there, tighten it down. And cinch it down, and at that point it's not going anywhere really. This is back against you want this back against the front side of the tire, or the rear tire. Try not to pinch your chain and don't bend the spokes. Do the front as well. I don't like that because it's going to pinch the spoke. So we're going to move to above that. Now these straps fit good through the spokes on this bike. The ones on Melissa's are a little bit closer together, so it is a little tighter fit. All right, so that is like ratcheted down. See if I can show you that a little closer here. That's ratcheted down. That is not adjusted as good as it could be, but ratcheted in place there. Ratchet in place there and there. So pretty cool. All right, let's get the other bike up here. I don't really have any qualms at all about driving down the road with that. Yeah. So we can look at that. Check it out. There they are. You can see how these pretty much attach to the seat post, or like I said, these are articulate, so you could even attach it on this post if you wanted to, or if you have a bike that has a crossbar over the top, that's not, if it's not a step through, this will twist and you can put it up here and attach it to that crossbar. Pretty happy with it. All right, so first impressions, pretty impressed with the rack so far. Although we've just gotten it, we really haven't done any traveling with it, but putting the rack together, seeing how sturdy it's built, putting the bikes on and off a couple of times, pretty pleased with it. I don't think we're gonna have any problems with it. That is the CyberRack E2. Again, there'll be a link to the Amazon link where we purchased this one off of Amazon. You can get it directly off of the manufacturer's website if you want. I think it was $329 or $339 is what we paid off of Amazon. It was on sale for a few bucks off. Well-made rack. Now, again, that opinion could change down the road, but it definitely seems to be a pretty sturdy rack, and I think we're going to be pretty happy with it. So we're headed to Florida in a couple of weeks and then over to Gulf Shores, Alabama. So we're going to be doing a couple of thousand miles. When we get back, we're going to talk about it and we'll do a follow-up and see how it holds up and how we did traveling. It's got to be easier than lugging the bikes in and out of the RV all the time, because that is a real pain in the ass. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thanks for showing up. We really appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. All kinds of great RV living tips, tricks, all that stuff to make your adventure and your journey better and more fun times. So until next time, guys, take care of each other, love each other, make every moment count. See you next time, guys.